gonna sound really strange. Somebody said, I think you might be an editor. How do you like living alone? 34 by now. I have to count again. Good evening, everyone. I decided to sit down tonight and answer your questions. So I have my laptop here that has the questions on it. I might be looking on my phone as well. And true to what I'm trying to do this last 2 weeks during stay-at-home quarantine, my plan was to do a project every day. It hasn't completely happened, and I haven't gotten the video up every day, but I want to do something I've been wanting to do for a while, and that is to put together like a wood, what would you call it, a wood bead? I guess just wood beads on a string. I've been wanting to have one of these for a long time, and just before Christmas, I saw Megan Fox's video of homemade gifts to make, and she talked about making these wood beads. I thought, oh, I could maybe do that. And so I bought these wood beads on Amazon. There are 200 in here, and I'm gonna try to make my own tonight. These things have been laying around for a couple months, so now while I answer your questions, I'm going to try to work on this. I have some jute string and some other kind of string. I think what you're probably supposed to use is macrame type of string, but let's get to the questions, and I'm gonna try see what I can do with this. Joy asks, Joy and Kim, what do you do for work? And I know that's probably a question that a lot of you have. I don't think I ever talked about it that much. Somebody said, I think you might be an editor or something like that. And I was like, how did you guess? Yes, my work does involve editing and some writing, and I work for a nonprofit organization that produces stewardship educational materials, and so I do editing of articles, and I also they have a quarterly newsletter they do that I need to manage that process. And then I do a little bit of freelance writing for a local magazine. Today I was actually working on an advertorial for a local hospital. So that is what I do for my job, which can easily be done at home. Riha asks, what kind of food do you have for your birds? Yes, I will show a clip of that. It's just something that I got at Walmart, and it seems to be a really good kind because the birds have really been coming to the feeder. And then I have homemade suet, and my mom actually had some that she gave me to use to see if it would work here for the birds. She makes suet, but I'm almost out of that, and so I'm going to ask her for her recipe, and I'm going to make some of my own suet to use. So I will leave that recipe down below. The birds really seem to like that suet. I have a pair of chickadees that come almost every day to the feeder. Today, for the first time, I had a woodpecker. I think it was a downy woodpecker. So that was really fun. Carrie asks, how do you like living alone? Well, actually, about a year ago, I had someone move into my basement, so I don't feel as alone. She is a younger woman and leads a very busy social life, so I don't, we didn't see each other that much. We share a kitchen, we share a laundry room, but otherwise she's in the basement. Now, of course, during quarantine, we see each other more often, and it's been really nice to have her around. We go on walks sometimes, or I live in a 3-apartment house. One of the apartments is empty, but the other one, there's an older couple that lives in there. So we kind of have our little community in here. I very much like my own space, and neither one of us just cook a lot. So there's every once in a while we're in the kitchen at the same time, but not often. I don't think I would like living out in the middle of nowhere completely by myself. I like to have my space, but then know that there's other people around. Janella asks, what is your favorite food? Well, what I've said about my favorite food ever since I was probably still in school is lasagna. I just love lasagna. I don't hardly ever make it, but it's like, if I go to Olive Garden or somewhere, I get the lasagna. I love pasta. L.M. Martin says, I would like to know more, she would like to know more about my siblings and what they do. How many kids do they have, and do they homeschool? So I come from a family of 8, And I have 30, I'm trying to think, 32 nieces and nephews, or is it 34 by now? I have to count again. My oldest sister has 6 kids, and the next brother has 6 kids. The next brother has 7 kids, and then another brother has 6, and then the other brother has 4. Actually, the other 2 brothers have 4, and then Annette, my youngest sister, has 2. So I guess there's a number of them that have 6. And you ask, do they homeschool? Okay, it's about half and half. Some of them homeschool and some of them send their kids to a private school. And then there's a few of them, 2 of them, that send their kids to public school. And of course, they're all homeschooling right now with this quarantine going on. Oh, and Ellen Martin also asked, as a Mennonite, how often under normal circumstances do you get together with the whole family? I would say it kind of goes into spurts. Oh, you said the whole family. For the whole family, because my family's spread out a little bit. I have siblings that live in other states. And so usually it's just at Christmas or Thanksgiving. We get together one year over Thanksgiving and then the next year over Christmas and kind of rotate. So at least once a year we're all together. And then there's 4 of us siblings that live locally. This winter we tried, us who are local, we tried to get together once a month for a Saturday morning brunch. But then we'll get together, you know, sometimes like for birthdays, and under normal circumstances we get together maybe once every, I mean, it goes in spurts. Sometimes we might be together every week for a while, and then next it's every 2 weeks, or it might go a couple weeks till we see each other. What is your church like? Is it big or small or informal? Do you have potlucks or fellowship often at your church? I am attending a new church, and that church is pretty big. I'm like close to 300 people. The church I had come from was smaller, and I don't know, maybe more around 100 people. And I would say pretty informal, but with that many people, you have to have some formality where you have your structure and stuff. And the potluck, as far as we call it a fellowship meal, and that happens about once a month. They used to do it every other week, but with the church growing and more people, they put it down to one Sunday a month. There are certain people assigned to like your hot foods, and then everybody brings a salad and a dessert, and that seems to work pretty well. What is your favorite season and your least favorite season, and why? My favorite season is autumn. I don't know, I just love when life slows down a little bit. I love the crisp air and all the autumn thing can be cozy and I don't know, it's just something about that. And then my least favorite, like, this is gonna sound really strange, but it might be spring. I know that sounds terrible, but I love so many things about spring. I love it right now where there's flowers are blooming and the trees are gonna bloom. But here in Ohio, it can be really gray and muddy and in the springtime. So, I mean, we have beautiful days too, like today we had beautiful blue skies. Becky L asks, where do you get your NORWEX products? I had shown the day cream the other day on one of my videos that I use from NORWEX. And I also have NORWEX, like the EnviroCloth, cleaning and polishing rags. I love their stain remover. It works better on my slip covers than anything else I've tried. And where I usually get them, usually it's when somebody has a party. In January, my sister-in-law had a 40th birthday and we did a NORWEX party for her on Facebook. And so that's when I got the day cream. I have a friend who's a consultant and she actually lives in Texas. She's part of a church plant. I was thinking I should ask her if there's a way you all could order from her. I could leave the link down below. Someone also asked me where I get my skirts, and I talked a little bit about that in the last video and left a number of links on that video. My skirts I just kind of get wherever. I sometimes get them at CATO, which is a small clothing store here in the eastern United States. I don't know if it's across the nation or not. And Good Store in Lancaster, PA, I actually have gotten a couple skirts there as well. I just kind of always keep my eyes open. I mean, there was one summer where Walmart had a number of modest skirts that I got. So that's all the questions right now, I think. Thank you to those of you who asked questions, and I hope you all are having a good week. We're going into the weekend. I can't believe it's like the end of the second week of quarantine already. Wow. As far as this situation here with this bead, it's not going very fast. I think I should have done my research a little bit better before I ordered these, because it feels like it's really hard to get any kind of string through them. The next morning, I just added a second little string to the ends there to give it a more finished look. But I was happy with the final result, plus I saved a lot of money. I got the whole bag of beads for $13.99 on Amazon, and I'm guessing I can make about 5 or 6 garlands with this, so that would be about $2 or $3 per garland. Just popping back in here again, I realized last night after I was in bed that there was a question I had missed. I was like, wasn't there a question in there about what are some of my hobbies? And Janella asked, what is a favorite hobby of yours? I love to visit old bookstores. We have one about half an hour from here that I love to go, and you can exchange books. So I like to, I guess maybe this is a hobby, I'll buy some books at Goodwill that I know I don't want, or garage sales, and then I can exchange them at the used bookstore for some books that I really want. So thanks for asking that question. That was fun to think about.